And welcome in, everybody, to another wonderful Monday evening here on the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan,
I'm Eric.
and welcome in to another episode here. Just wanted to say a quick note. As you can see, maybe by some of the branding on our information, we're officially the show is officially part of the Edge of Philly Sports Network. So appreciate Al and everyone over there. With all of this, and happy to be part of the team officially. It's nice. But welcome in everybody from the Edge of Philly Sports, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, wherever you may get your shows. So that being said, we will move right on. And always first is Daniel. What up, buddy? Um, we are going to be talking a bit about free agency tonight. I
Yep.
will say there's a lot going on. Tomorrow is the start of the franchise tag, so teams can officially start tagging their players that they wish not to lose. I know we're going to lose a lot of really good potential free agents here. Of course, there's going to be some Eagles targets here. Eric, I don't know, maybe one off the top of your head that you think might be an Eagles target, but will most likely get franchise tagged and not be available for us? Do you think?
Um, I don't know if they're gonna franchise him because they've got a lot of needs and a lot of guys hitting the market. But like an Antoine Winfield, he is somebody that I feel like I would love the Eagles to be able to go out and get. I wonder. To me, it's more whether or not his price range is going to fall with mine with what we're willing to spend at that position.
Yeah, listen, I think you have Mike Evans that is a possible target. Antoine Winfield certainly is a guy, and I'm sure they're going to try and sign one of them the good old fashioned way, and again if they need to, potentially use the franchise on the other. So, listen, I
Right.
think it's a slim chance that he makes it, but man, he would be a fantastic addition to this Eagles defensive backfield for sure. That's a great one, honestly.
Yeah. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean that's certainly one I think is probably one on my list. Patrick Queen. Again, it's rare for a linebacker to really get franchised, and considering the depth that they have over there in Baltimore, I don't know. I don't know if
He
they want to go that route. You were saying?
Yeah, I was saying he was one on my list. I just didn't want to take him from you. I knew he would be high on your list.
Well, sure. Yes, he is a linebacker. So, what up, Q? What's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, he'd be great. I don't know what Baltimore's thinking. Whether he's part of their long-term plans or not, but yeah, listen, I'm not going to lie and say that I wouldn't love to have a Patrick Queen here and an Antoine Winfield. I mean, you come out of the gate, sign both of those guys. I mean, I don't give a crap what you do the rest of the way. So, yeah, it's definitely would be a productive off season even before the
Yeah.
draft. So, Yang Gang checks in. Xavier McKinney more likely than Queen. I mean, yes, one's a safety, one's um, a linebacker. I would love Xavier McKinney. I think he's kind of more likely to not only hit the market, but kind of in the price range that Howie would want. Over somebody like you just mentioned there, Yang Gang Winfield, who I think even if the slim chance that he makes it, I think he's going to outprice Howie and the Eagles for the safety position. I mean, typically, you look at spending for the Philadelphia Eagles on linebacker and safety, they're traditionally towards the bottom of the NFL in spending, when it comes to those two positions. So, As much as I would love to have Winfield, McKinney, Queen, whoever. We need players in those two positions. So, Eric, what's another position that I think outside of linebacker and safety, which we will be talking about quite a bit, throughout this whole thing, and yeah, we'll what's another position I think that the Eagles could target?
I would go. I would love to see us go out and get a slot receiver. Like that's
Yeah,
one
wide
thing
receiver.
that
Great.
again I really yeah. I mentioned to you in the private comment. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
I
try and
saw.
log out and
Go
come
ahead.
back in on my phone. My
Go
I'm
ahead, bud. Go ahead, bud. Do
lagging
do what you
something ridiculous. Let
yeah,
me see.
do what you gotta do what you gotta do. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
right
so
back,
we're
everybody.
okay. We're having some delay, some lag issue here with Eric, and his computer, which by the way is got a new computer, and ever since you got a new computer, like his old one died, whatever, but ever since he got a new computer, he's been on like this delay, like as if his internet isn't receiving or the laptop isn't receiving quality internet. I don't know how it works here, folks. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a little past that age where I grew up in it, so I have no idea how it works or how he needs to maybe adjust his laptop settings or something. But anyway, we'll continue the show without Eric until he comes back. He's going to pop in on his phone. It'll be hopefully a little less laggy there. But Yang Gang, again, great comment. Plenty of wide receivers in the draft. Absolutely. And in fact, Yang Gang, if you are interested, I would say head on over to the Edge of Philly Sports YouTube if you already haven't. Make sure you're subscribing, but also go through, me and Mr. Crackpot Dives. We did top 10s for every single position of incoming prospects for the NFL draft, especially the really fun one on wide receivers. It's probably one of the deepest positions there is with top talent and depth. So check it out. Yeah, agreed. Plenty of wide receivers in this draft. O-line, well, listen, I'm not opposed to O-line. I think it would be really mad if we decided to do O-line within the first couple of picks. Again, unless this scenario happens. Oh, somebody's back.
Yeah,
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah,
Hey, wow, your phone is better than your laptop. Gotta love it.
gotta love it. I gotta figure out what the issue is with that.
Yeah, I think your laptop just sucks.
I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. It just
Thanks, Mom.
no. I mean, it's funny because everything else with the laptop, it's fantastic. But for
Oh, really?
whatever reason, when I've been trying to do this, it's been god awful.
Well, listen. Maybe until we figure it out, we just do because this is great. You're perfect here.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I'm digging it. So anyway, yeah. Listen. We were talking about some other positions, some other people.
Mhm.
As you said, wide receiver. Plenty of wide receivers in the draft. I think it's going to be a deep position that even if we don't address it, maybe in the first, what do we have? 22, 50, and 54. 50.
Yeah, 3 picks in the top 55 picks. So
Yeah.
that's
So even if we don't address that, we can, again, Howie's always going to be moving, but I
Mhm.
still think there's some depth there of somebody to maybe grab with that 97 pick, or even somewhere in the in the later picks after that. But somebody had also mentioned O line, and I was just about to go into the scenario. I don't want to tackle. I don't
yeah.
listen. I think this year more than any other year, I don't think we have the luxuries that we once had. I don't think we have the luxury
agree.
where we can think, 2-3 years down the road and be like, oh well, maybe let's get a guy and develop him, and he'll eventually replace this guy, that guy, whatever. We have too many needs. We have too many holes. We have too many problems to fix that we can't just, go in there and be like, oh, trenches, 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 let's go. Like,
Right.
no, sorry. Like, as much as I know that's our bread and butter, the only scenario where I would accept an early pick and, for first or second round on an O line is if Kelsey does truly retire, and whether Jurgens kicks inside to center and we need a guard, or Jurgens is going to stay and we need a center. There's plenty of interior offensive linemen that I absolutely would love.
Sure.
I have just finished my top big board, my top 200, which, let me tell you, very painstaking. But like Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon can play center, can play guard. Somebody like a Graham Barton. And these are more likely first rounders. Second rounders, maybe a Troy Fontenot from Washington, Cooper Beebe from Kansas State, Zach Frazier, West Virginia, center, guard kind of hybrid. Maybe later in the draft, Cedric Van Pran, a center from UGA, Christian Haney, a guard from UConn, Zach Zinner, guard from Michigan. I mean, it's deep with talent. So I wouldn't be opposed. I just think, again, that's probably the only scenario where I really would be okay with getting an offensive lineman if Kelsey truly does retire. Early, that is. Listen, if you want to draft a guy in the third, fourth, fifth, etc., and develop him under the greatest offensive line coach there is, then absolutely go for it. We have a homegrown offensive line. The last time we went outside of draft for our offensive line is when we grabbed Brandon Brooks. Now, granted, that worked tremendously, but
yeah, I was gonna say that didn't work out too bad there either.
Right. But so what I'm saying is, I don't doubt that they'll somewhere in the middle of the draft grab a guy, even if it's for depth purposes, even if it's whatever. Like last year, we drafted Tyler Steen, and I think that was more of a luxury pick than anything. This is a guy that didn't really play. Let's be honest. And there were guys on the board that could have absolutely helped our team. Just saying. So,
and like you said, that was more of a pick to not necessarily to help you in 2023. It was for 2024 and beyond.
Sure.
And that's fine. If that works out and he becomes a great player for this team, a great offensive lineman, then it worked.
Sure.
But I think what we're seeing now is some of the fallout from when you missed on Jalen Rieger, when you missed on when Nolan Smith didn't really pan out.
You gotta play.
We don't know.
You gotta play.
I don't know that it's fair to say that Nolan Smith is a bust or anything. It's 1 year and he didn't really play.
Listen. I think for the limited snaps that he was given, he was productive. But
I do too.
He's still learning. We knew he was going to be more of a process. And listen, you let him go. I mean, again, if we're outside of Sweat and Reddick, who do you really have at edge right now?
Yeah, I mean,
Brandon Graham's a free agent,
right?
And he's also old as dirt. He's 35, 36.
Yeah, and he has said that this is his last year. He wants to come back for a last year.
I'm all for it. Bring him back. Bring him back in the fold. Let him get limited snaps. Let Nolan Smith take over some of those snaps. And again, even if you're going to draft a guy, I'm okay with drafting a guy. I think we need an edge player because, again, this whole Hassan Reddick thing, I don't necessarily see how he paying $25 million for Hassan Reddick. I just don't. So
No, there's no way he comes back in next year at that price tag.
right. So more likely he might get traded. And if that's the case, we're going to need to supplement that with some draft picks. And listen, I really do love some edge rushers out here. I think there's probably
Sure.
5 or 6 first rounders. But again, there's probably like 7 or 8 total guys, and then there's kind of a cliff. It kind of does drop off pretty significantly. And if we're going to get one of these guys, I'm all for it. One of my favorites is Lai Tailatu from UCLA, Jared Verse from FSU, and Darius Robinson from Mizzou, who's, I think, a name that people need to remember. Blew up at the Senior Bowl, really had a great week, and I think he's going to be a combine freak. And I think he's going to get himself into the first round by way of combine and probably pro day. But pay attention to that guy. I think he's.
Which, by the way, I'm already saying we got to have a big combine party.
I floated the idea of doing like a live combine watch party, and he's like, "Jesus, man, that's deep."
I'm with it. I'm with the idea.
Oh, I know you are. You're the one who came up with it. For crying
Yeah,
out
I was gonna say. Yeah, I was saying it was my idea, so obviously I'm in.
Hassan's not going anywhere. Listen, that might be right. And again,
I hope you're right. I love Hassan Reddick.
Yeah. The whole thing, the whole thing was certainly a ploy, to get out to them. They leak the information, and that's kind of, unfortunately, kind of how sometimes these guys, the negotiations go back and forth. But listen, I when it comes down to it, I'm not worried about, he's asking for a trade, didn't ask for a trade, whatever. I'm more concerned to the fact of the matter is Hassan Reddick wants to be paid like a top guy.
Sure.
Well deserved. He has outplayed his contract with us for sure.
Yep.
That being said, going rate, it's probably 23, 24, $25 million.
We can't bring him in for that price.
I just don't see how you're going to do that. And why would you just let him walk for that? So, again, I'm not saying necessarily he's going anywhere, but I just, maybe he just plays out the rest of his contract and that's it. And, that's the end of Hassan Reddick. But
maybe.
I don't know. It's tough to fathom how he going above and beyond. Yang says Robinson seems more suited to a 3-4. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I just everything that
I know you've always loved the idea of doing like a hybrid 4-3-3-4 here.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, and listen, I think a lot of people kind of confuse Vic Fangio's defense for 3-4. That's not necessarily what he does either. I don't know. I could see Robinson being productive in any major system. Honestly, I think when you just look at the tool set, as an edge rusher, I think.
And who else they said was going to be just an exclusive 3-4 edge pass rusher, who turned out to be pretty good in the 4-3.
Who's that?
Brandon Graham.
Yeah, that's very true.
Just a good football player. Football players will work in any system.
Well, and that's the thing. I think people sometimes listen. It's not that it's never true. It is.
No. I mean, sometimes guys are just great.
One or the other, and that's where they shine. Not saying they can't be, but for the most part, yes, that might be true. But I feel like a lot of times people, again, early. Young.
Well, what was the knock that we even preached on our show about one Justin Jefferson, that he was just a slot receiver? Dude's just a talented receiver. Wherever you line him up at, dude just catches passes.
Right. And what did we say? I said it doesn't matter where you line up this kid.
Dude's just good. He's good at football.
Well, listen, we have the tape to prove that we were right on Justin Jefferson for sure. But anyway. I'm not paying Hassan $25 million. He has a better chance of fornicating with my sister. Well, you better hide your sister then, because I think somebody's going to pay him $25 million. I just don't. Think he does. So, agreed. Talent trumps fit and scheme. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, I would agree with
I
that
don't,
100%.
okay.
Well, I guess I said it, so I guess I would agree with it.
Yeah, right. Listen, as far as Robinson goes, I just like what I see.
Mhm.
I've watched enough film on him.
You've watched a lot of football in your day.
I've watched a lot of football in my day, sure, and I've really
Yeah.
ramped up my scouting
Mhm.
viewing this year for sure. I've really been focusing on the draft and all of that. So I'm hoping to kind of parlay this into doing the trifecta of NFL draft on locations, going to the Senior Bowl, going to the Combine, and going to the draft. So that's my goal for next year.
Oh, I'm with you.
We'll see.
with you. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, money might be, as always, an issue, but
But we're right now at that stage where I'm allowed to say I'm in because no money is due yet.
well, I'll also need to, make sure we get accepted as credentials.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's next year's problem. But
That's
yeah,
future me's problem.
yes, right. So I truly, getting back to what we were talking about, I truly believe that edge is going to be a need for this team, because even if you bring Brandon Graham back, you have Hassan
That's a
Reddick,
1 year fix.
right?
Yeah.
You have Hassan Reddick, you have Josh Sweat, who arguably had his worst year of his career,
Mhm.
and you have Nolan Smith, who they don't really give any playing time to. So yeah, we shall see, but. Just
But he
looking
was getting a lot more playing time as the season wore on.
well,
And
yeah,
I
eventually,
would think that will continue next year, that we're going to see big steps forward. They always say the biggest steps forward a guy takes in his NFL career is from year 1 to year 2.
well, that is true. So we shall see if that is true. But just looking right now at the Eagles free agent, let's start on the offensive side of the ball. And to kind of go to your point about the wide receiver 3, Olamide Zacchaeus and Quez Watkins are officially UFAs. Tight end wise, Albert O and Jack Stoll are free agent, although I think Stoll is a restricted. So they will most likely bring him back. They seem to like him.
I'm out on Jack Stoll.
Listen, I
know you were ahead of me on that one. You called that a year ago.
Listen,
I needed one more year of seeing it. Yeah,
pounding the table for tight end 2, and
that was going to be one of my next points, was to talk about the tight end 2 position. I want another tight end.
Guys that I absolutely love. Obviously, the cream of the crop in the draft is Brock Bowers, but
he's not going to be there at 22.
He'll most likely be a top 10 pick. The guy who I cannot stop drafting in mock drafts, JT Sanders out of Texas. Absolutely.
Yes, I was hoping you were going to say him.
Yeah. Also another guy, Brevin Spanford out of Minnesota. Bryson Nesbitt out of UNC. Theo Johnson, Penn State. These are all kind of later round guys that I wouldn't mind to come in and take the spot of Stoll and of Calcaterra. So, Yanga, do either of you have a man crush on any of this year's prospects? Oh, snap. Where do I begin?
I will be announcing my official man crush after the Combine.
Oh, will you now?
Yeah.
Let's see.
We'll have like a testimonial here on the show where I will announce my official man crush.
Man, I feel like I probably have about 5 of them, but let's see. I think I have to put JT Sanders in there.
I was gonna say he's probably one of mine, but that's again UT guy.
Yeah. So he's certainly one guy that I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Robinson again was kind of another one that I'm really liking. Honestly, give me any effing linebacker, but I mean, listen, I obviously still love Trot. I think it's a great story. I've been obviously following him since he's been at St. Joe's Prep. The whole 9 yards.
He's got to wear number 54 if he comes here, right?
Listen, as much as the jersey collector in me would be screaming for a different number.
Sure.
I can't argue that wouldn't be the best. Man, if I had to say one, man, who would I say?
So we want him to either be 54 or 8. So
Right? Man, I don't know. I mean, I'm really loving Cameron Kitchens and Tyler Newman, but I don't know. That's too tough. Peyton Wilson, that's a great pick right there. Great pick.
you sound like a 70s hippie with your, hey, name your one crush that you have, and you rattle off like 15.
I can't help it. I need to narrow down my honestly that might be a show that Dimes and I do of who our crushes are. We'll just do like we'll each do a top 5 and do that, because I don't know if I can narrow it down. I mean,
Actually, I would love to see a show of just you attempting to narrow down your man crushes.
Right? That'd be good. Jack Dwight, what's up, buddy? Just say no to Reddick. Not well rounded, not good against the run, not enough pressures. I guess in regards to paying him his $25 million, I agree. It's just too much for me. As much as I love Reddick, and listen, obviously, Jack,
I get it.
Reddick, but he didn't have the greatest year. He started off slow once again. And he sometimes disappeared. And although I will say, when the switch to the DC happened, it seemed like he wasn't being utilized as efficient potential. But yes, Wilson is the best linebacker in the draft, but his injury history is awful. Debatable, but I think I have him listed as my linebacker 3.
Ooh.
So yes, I do have him as my 3. I have Edgerrin Cooper, Trot, and Peyton Wilson. And yes, the injury history is certainly a concern. Jack Dwight agreed. About Reddick, maybe, I'm guessing. That seems like a Q stance to have. All right. So where were we? We were looking at the offensive lineman. So we talked about wide receiver, talked about tight end, running back. Obviously, we need to figure out what the hell's going on, because Swift, Penny, not that we used them, Boston Scott, most likely gone, are also free agents. I would love them to bring back DeAndre Swift and potentially draft somebody mid-rounds.
That's what I'd like to see. Yeah, I'd like to see not a completely different running back room. I don't want to, complete overhaul there. But if you're not bringing back Swift, then I think maybe I am in favor of it, because I'd love to find a way to get rid of Gainwell. And
sure. Yeah,
you're probably not bringing back Penny.
I know the Eagles love themselves some getting Gainwell, but I do not. I would love to bring in like a Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. He's kind of a big guy, bruiser. I think would the Philly fans would fall in love with him. That's certainly.
Any second tier free agent running back that you would be interested in on taking a flyer? Obviously not counting a Derrick Henry, because I want no parts of DeMarco Murray 2.0.
Oh wow! Are you calling Derrick Henry DeMarco Murray 2.0?
Not to his face.
Yeah.
From the comfort of a screen.
Oh my good God, that is a stance to have. Man, I am gonna clip the shit out of this. and then I'm gonna tag him in it.
No, you're gonna get me killed. Just don't put my address on there or where I work.
I'm gonna put everything. I'm gonna put everyone's address on there. Everyone you've ever known, except for my address. I don't know.
That's one address I'm okay with.
I know. Somebody like a Tony Pollard. Again, I think the Kellen Moore connection. He was productive. He seems to utilize running backs a lot more efficiently. So there's that. Something I would certainly love. Stephen Campbell in the house. What up, buddy? We have to bring back Swift. I agree. Braylon Allen's on my wish list. I love that. We need to use that rookie that we didn't use. Which one? We never use rookies, I feel like.
Yeah, we don't like using rookies.
Yeah, probably Nolan Smith. Is that who you're talking about? Also, the kid on Atlanta. The kid on Atlanta that played at BYU. Man, I'm really missing that connection. The kid on Atlanta that played at BYU.
We talking about a running back here? Or?
I mean, I don't think I have. No, I don't think there's a BYU running back in my list. So, kid on Atlanta. What? Tyler Algier? Did he go to BYU? Is Algier? Because I would love him. I don't know. Maybe that's who it is. Is that Tyler Algier? If he's a free agent, I'll take him. I know Cordell Patterson is a free agent. Yeah, but I don't think Tyler Algier.
Isn't Cordell Patterson like 100 years old?
You'd think that. You really would think that, but he's I think he's like 33.
Wow.
Still impressive. Don't get me wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. Good for him.
Oh, I was right. Is he a free? I don't think he's a free agent, is he? Because if he is, I'd bring him in here in 2 seconds.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I thought maybe he's. I thought he still had one more year. Let me.
I mean, if they want to waive the last year of his contract or something, go for it. Like, let's go.
No, he's going to be there until he's not going to be a free agent until 2026. So,
are we talking via trade? I mean,
I mean, hell, I'd be down for a trade for sure.
Yeah,
I've always liked Tyler Algier, and again with Bijan there, it's like, do they really need Tyler Algier? I mean, listen, he got himself 1,000 yards, barely being used in his first year. Second year, they bring in the best running back prospect in years. It's like, geez.
Which I was the gut saying when, like, I really didn't think Atlanta had any interest in Bijan. And all the mocks kept saying, like, oh, yeah, all these guys kept saying, like, Atlanta was in on him. And I remember thinking, I'm like, but they've got Algier. He's really good.
Right, exactly. But, yeah, listen. I just checked. He is a free agent in 2026. So still has this year and next year to go. Anyway. Eagles are one of the slowest teams in the league. Might agree with you on that one. Devontae's speed is well below average. I mean, he's faster than me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's snails.
That's probably not a good.
Yeah, that's not a good comp. I don't think. Yeah.
Hey, listen. You're absolutely right. When we talked about the needs for this team, getting younger.
One of the first things I mentioned, team speed.
Getting better at team speed. Absolutely. We could go for a ball. We could go for a ball from the Steelers.
They're just going to give us a football? I mean, I'll take it. Like, if it's free, it's for me. But
who are we getting? who are we getting back? Or who are we giving up for that ball? Because shit.
I mean, it's Kenny Gainwell. I'll drive him to Pittsburgh.
Oh, hell yeah. Kenny Gainwell. Peace. I would assume Najee is probably going to be. I'm pretty sure he's free agent next year. But
yeah, he's got one more year left, right? And he was a first round pick, so they got the 5th-year option they can use.
That's what it is. So, hey, I would love Najee personally. I don't think they necessarily use him all that well, but Yang Gang at Jack Dwight. Speed isn't the most important trait for a wide receiver. Agreed. Separation and hands are more important. Route running, I think. And
sure.
Just general.
A lot of those things can be coached up. You can't coach speed. It's either you have it or you don't.
Well, that's also very true. Yeah, that's all. I think more than speed, I think it's more quickness, acceleration,
Yeah.
um, being able to get your move and then accelerate off of that. That's where you get the separation. So,
See, and
uh,
that's where like I love the different drills that they run at the combine. Like I can't wait to see, like obviously everybody gets blown away by 40 times. I
sure, it's
really
fun. It's
don't.
fun. It's fun. It's fast. It's great.
Sure.
But yeah,
I find myself towards the end of the 40 times because I usually DVR it and watch it like, maybe later on that day or something. Like if I'm working and then like at least back when it started at like 9, 10 in the morning. And, I'd get home from work and I'd be catching up.
I'm same.
So I'd catch myself starting to fast forward through some of the 40 times at the end just to watch some of the real drills.
Now this is a very underrated comment here. I don't ever want to see Devontae as lead blocker on a run or a screen pass again. Yeah, that might have been the funniest thing to ever see.
Like maybe just in like a football volleys video or something.
Devontae skinny ass. I will trade God. Will what? Man, I really am lost here. I think that's going back to the Pittsburgh.
The ball from the Steelers.
Yeah. No, speed isn't the most important, but slow wideouts allow safeties to play closer and choke off the run game. Agreed. If we're all about speed, John Ross would be in Canton. That's or who's the guy from drafted by the Raiders, like number
James
7?
Jett.
Three. He had like 3 names. What was his name? He was like ungodly fast and just.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh crap! Why can't? What is it, from Maryland or?
Maybe wide receiver drafted by Raiders.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Shoot, this is gonna bug me until I remember it now, or until you tell me here in a second.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to.
Thank you, Google machines.
Right. Let's look at the draft history, and I want to say it was like. Oh man, it was
Like 07? Oh,
nah, I don't know if it was
09, 10 maybe.
Yeah, it was definitely in the O's. Darius Hayward Bay.
Yes, Darius Hayward Bay. Yes.
Very nice. There you go. I see we pieced it together.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why we're a good team. Let's see. I already did that one. Tugs. I think you mean Ruggs. Now he's in jail.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm sure he'd be great for the California Penal League, but
dude, they got themselves a baller, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You can play. I wish the Birds could have found a way to use Adrian Killins. Wow. Okay.
All right.
That's a random name a random.
I'm just gonna start naming random Eagles now.
All right. But anyway, wow. I love how we just always go off into tangents here. So running back is certainly something that needs to get addressed, whether it be by resigning Swift, resigning a free agent running back. All I want to make sure is that Kenny Gainwell is not our lead back going into this season, because I think that'd be a missed opportunity for this offense.
Agreed. Yeah. Anything that reduces the role that Kenny Gainwell plays in this offense, I'm for it. Yeah.
He is slowly
Wendell Smallwood.
My new Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not there yet. Like, because again,
it's funny. There's that girl sits behind me. She's an absolute psychopath, and she's hilarious. But she's always screaming about Kenny Gainwell. And like middle of the season or whatever, when he scored against Dallas, she's yelling like, "Why are we giving it to Gainwell?" Yeah. And I turned around and was like, "Yeah, we scored, but I know."
Listen, I got it. At least Kenny Gainwell blocks well. Wendell Smallwood didn't do nothing for nobody. And not even
Wendell Smallwood didn't wear his uniform right.
Yeah, it was awful. So anyway, we need to figure out what we're doing there. And again, even if we want to go for one of these, running backs, maybe, who knows, maybe we randomly take one in the second round, third round. I think third round would be huge. You have people like Jonathan Brooks, Bucky Irving, Blake Corum, Jalen Wright. You never know. I have Trey Benson and Audric Estime, second rounders. But you never know. Running back's weird because people sometimes just forget them. And
I feel like when we get to that Saturday of the draft, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, "Hey, so are we going to take a running back?" It's like, "Oh shoot, they still play football?"
Yeah. The lead back should be bigger than Swift and needs to be able to catch and pass protect. Sure, I agree. Eagles O-line took a step back last season, and Kelce was part of that, living off his reputation. Well, I highly doubt he's living off of that. I'm not sure he's like going like, hey, you can't hit the quarterback. I'm Jason Kelce. You stay right there.
And all the defenders are like,
right. Sorry.
Okay. Not bad, man.
Obviously, I'm kidding. But yeah, listen, they weren't as good. And I don't know whether it was. I mean, listen, Cam Jurgens did not play great.
No.
He had a few good games, but overall, he did not play great. And yeah, I thought the left side played really well. I thought, yes, Jason Kelce played good, still at a high level, maybe not just as well as we were kind of accustomed to. Yang Gang, it's so hard for me to believe that we spend any significant amount of money on running back, linebacker, or safety. Yes, you're correct. I believe it when I see it. Howie Vision. Yeah, listen, Yang Gang, you are.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
You've got reason to believe that. Yeah.
Listen, now I don't know the figures for running back, but I was mostly focusing on safety and linebacker. And over the last, I forgot how many years back I went, the Eagles were in the bottom 5 in spending for safety and linebacker every single year. And listen, it's just not something we do. And everybody's going to say, oh, well, we haven't drafted a linebacker since 1979. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, who cares? Like, I don't care if it's not been since 1934. I don't really care.
Right.
It's not happening this year. I mean, there's no first-round linebackers, granted, but it's not going to happen this year, and that's okay. Now, I'd be all right. A perfect scenario for me is to trade back 28, 29, 30, somewhere in there. You trade back like 7, 8, 9 spots. And
you know me, I'm always a fan of trading back.
Listen, you can pick up, maybe you pick up a second, maybe you pick up a third, whatever. You pick up more assets.
Maybe a third in this year's draft and maybe a second in next year's.
That might be a little too rich for the drop back. But listen, I'm all for it.
Maybe a 3 in this year and a 3 in next year.
Maybe that might be all right. But anyway, and going after somebody like Cameron Kitchens, safety in the first round. Now it's rare, probably not going to happen. Sure. And listen, I'd be all right if they ended up drafting, say, a corner or an edge. That's more likely to happen. I don't think you have the luxury that you've always had where you can play drafting for next year, drafting for the year following. I feel like you have a very tight window. You need to make sure that you are putting together the best possible team. And if you're not going to sign a F ton of free agents, you're going to need to supplement that with draft picks. Sure. You're going to need to draft young players in these important positions because I understand sometimes you're going to have to go light on certain positions and hope that you can make it work. And how we did that last year with safety and with linebacker, and injuries and poor play blew up in our face. And it happens. And I don't necessarily blame Howie. Everybody wants to shit on Howie. That's not what I'm doing here. He took a chance. He had to. You only have so much money. You have to pay, your quarterback, and every year it's only going to get more. And you're going to eventually have to pay Devontae or Reddick or whoever. There's always somebody that's needing money.
Sure.
You have to find.
I could also use some money, but that's a different conversation. I don't think Howie's paying me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find avenues. But I hope Howie realized and recognized that he needs to start advocating more resources to these two positions. I would love nothing more than a second round run or linebacker. Edgerrin Cooper, Trot, those are the two guys that if you draft any one of those, I'm doing a backflip. Now, granted, me, I'm a greedy son of a bitch. I'd take both of them, 50 and 54. You immediately solve your linebacker problem.
Right. Like you said, take a position of need, turn it into a position of strength.
Right. You say you sign an Xavier McKinney, you
Mhm.
draft Cameron Kitchens in the first, you draft Cooper, and you draft Trot. Boom. Both those positions completely flipped on its head.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It would be super nice. Now, granted, that's never going to happen. And yeah, I get it. Blah, blah, before everybody comes and punches me in the face. But I still would love at least one of them in the second round. I think that's my target. That's my hope. I'm hoping for one of those two guys. Now, granted, if it gets pushed back to the third, maybe Peyton Wilson makes it to the third. He might get snatched in the second. Somebody like Cedric Gray, Jalen Ford. These are all names that I'm gonna be looking at. So anyway, I think I missed you a couple of.
Well, I think it can't be missed here that, look, as much as we want to focus on being Eagle centric and just worrying about what the Eagles are going to do, like I think you have to be cognizant of what the other teams in your division and more specifically the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones comes out and makes a statement about how he's in a win now mode. Like, so I think you have to be cognizant of the fact that you're going to be dealing with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they are your direct competition in this division.
Always.
And I mean, that you always have to be cognizant of it. But I think now more than ever, like, you have to draft to be able to compete and out physical the Dallas Cowboys. And what do the Cowboys do, man? They like getting after the quarterback, which
sure do.
We also like getting after the quarterback.
Sure do.
But like, we're going to want to be able to play with an attitude and play with an attitude on defense. I mean, that's our bread and butter. That goes back to the beginning of our lifetime as Eagles fans.
Yeah.
Like, we grew up in the era of buddy ball and, go out there and punch somebody in the mouth.
Yeah, sure do. Yang Gang says we have 2 second rounders. Wouldn't be surprised if we draft our next running back. Trey Benson, maybe? Audric Estime is another second round running back that I have listed.
Sure.
If we go to the third, Jonathan Brooks, Bucky Irvin, Blake Corum, Jalen Wright.
Do you think there's any chance? And I know, like, the Eagles wouldn't do this, but like that a Blake Corum, because of the, we see it all the time with the Super Bowl champions, their value kind of gets added when they go into free agency. Does Blake Corum, because of he being a feature back on the Michigan national championship team, does that add any of his value? Like, I'm not saying it should for the draft. I'm saying do other teams
maybe slightly, but like again, I think Blake Corum's a decent running back, and he's not necessarily my favorite guy out there. I have my guys, but if they end up drafting him, I wouldn't necessarily hate it. But if you watch all of his highlights, Kelsey, they are at the second level. Well, that's true. He loves getting into the second level. How he loves the draft, but is not good at it. I disagree.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you.
I think when you grand scheme it and you realize that most draft picks you're going to select are not going to work out, and that's
right. Like, everybody gets so focused on
Well, every other GM is the same way.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. Right, if you put another GM, what's his name down in Tennessee? Like, if you put him under the microscope of the drafts and how many guys has he hit on, how many guys has he missed on?
Sure.
Like, you would same thing.
Yeah, listen. It's only because we're in it, we see it, we know more about it, that we can be more critical, and I got that. I would listen. We're always gonna look at the Raegers, the
sure.
J-Jaws, you name it. There's probably 500 more that we could go over, and if we want to all just have a big cry fest about our awful draft picks. So I
Well, like
just
how many teams are sitting there like in the early to mid 2000s and they're looking at, oh man, the Eagles got Jeremiah Trotter. What was it, the second or third round
third
when we
round,
got Trotter?
third round.
Third round, and they're like, man, we passed on the like. There are GMs out there that passed on him 3 times and are sitting there saying, "Damn, man, we had 3 chances to grab this kid, and he's whooping our
how many
ass."
Hall of Famers are not first rounders?
Right.
A lot. And how many teams didn't draft them in the first round? All of them, except for the one team
Yep.
that took a chance in the whatever round they got drafted in. So listen, I got it. We're close to it. It's hard to
Sure.
kind of see it any other way. But I just think maybe we're a little too critical on Howie. We're always going to look at the mistakes.
Like I can't tell you. Like Randy Moss was what, middle of the first round, like pick 18, 19, something like that. So that means there were 17 teams that. Look, I can't. I think we drafted Trey Thomas that year, which it worked out for us that year. But
love Trout.
There are a lot of teams who could tell you right away who they took instead of Randy Moss.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'm sure. Yang, not sure how I feel about Kinchins. High risk, high reward mentality, boomer bust attitude towards playmaking, highlight real hits and interceptions, but also guesses wrong and looks silly at times. I agree there are certain things that he needs to work on. Yeah,
that's where you trust your coaches to
exactly.
get a hold of him.
Need to get cleaned up. So, with a different GM, our safeties could be Brian. Yes, I got it. Believe me, I haven't thought about that every year since I would have rather had Hamilton. We all wanted Hamilton over Jordan Davis. We were all clamoring for Brian. Like again, I know. I understand. And that's why I'm saying more now than ever, we don't have the luxury of not taking the positions that we truly need. And I'm hoping Howie realizes that.
But don't reach just because it's the position of need.
Well, I'm not saying
and I'm not saying you are saying that.
But we have enough positions of need that there should be somebody in the tiers to grab.
I agree with that.
Jordan Davis bust, not true. And Nolan Smith. I don't think Jordan Davis is a bust at all, and I don't think Nolan Smith is a bust at all.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them are fair statements.
Players that still need time. And listen, you're right. Everybody's going to throw Jordan Davis's conditioning, and listen, they're used to playing 12 games. They're playing 17 now.
He's played more games in the last 2 years than he did in his entire 4 years, I think, at Georgia.
So give him a little break. Give him some, again, if Jordan Davis sucks this year, then call him a bust. If Nolan Smith, sucks the next 2 years, I don't think you can call anybody a bust if they haven't been in the league for 3 years, personally. Homer Powers activate. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, this guy. Watching from Cedar Hills, Texas. Hey, what up?
Oh, thank you,
Texas. Well, Eric, you're a Texas guy. Where's Cedar Hills? Is that UT territory?
I don't think so. I'm familiar with where Austin is, Houston, Katy, Texas, which is funny. Somebody at work the other day was mentioning that they're planning on retiring down to Katy, Texas, and I freaked out. I'm like, that's awesome.
That's I feel bad for them. Howie is not perfect. No.
Nobody. No GM
appearances in 5 years. Exactly. That you look at the Browns, you look at the Lions, you look at whomever,
well, even last year with the Detroit Lions, we both sat here and scoffed at their picks of Gibbs and what was the linebacker they took? Or
why can I not remember his last name?
Campbell?
Jack Campbell. Very good.
Yeah, Jack Campbell. Yeah, and we both sat here and we're just like, oh, wow, they reached on both those picks. I sat here and said, they're one of the biggest losers of the draft last year because of that. They really kicked me in the teeth all year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, it's crazy.
Then again, if you can play wherever you're drafted, once you're drafted and you're in the league, it doesn't really matter. You get it, you just got to get in.
Exactly. Hold on. I think Corum's decent, but doesn't excite me. Yeah, that's kind of how
I agree with that.
Not the guy I'm hoping for. Order Benson or Allen. Check. I want a big guy with long speed, battering ram, if at all possible. Yeah, listen, Yang Yang, we are on the same page. The Eagles should give Micah Hyde a go if he can be gotten for low enough cash. Yeah, I like Hyde, good safety. We need basically in an ideal world, and I love Reed Blankenship, but I would just love for him to be the third safety.
Right.
But more importantly, since that is probably not going to happen, at least bring in a guy to make Reed Blankenship the second safety. Now, again, I'm not talking free safety, strong safety, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about talent.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The secondary, yeah.
Right.
Because really,
I don't want him as the guy we're relying upon in
Yeah.
the safety room to be the guy. Again, I respect what he's done. I just need better. And we were close to 3. I already did that. I'm a big advocate of best player available in the draft. Same. I'm cool with Jordan Davis. Dude's a freak nature. Give him time.
Yes, I agree with you.
This system might be right for Davis. You're right. We don't know exactly how Vic Fangio's system is going to work for all of our defenders. You know, we might unlock certain things, and listen,
Sure.
some players might take setbacks. We don't know, so we're going to have to, whatever. I guess the one thing we're not short on is excuses. Who's making excuses? Enjoy the Chiefs dynasty as we make excuses. Who's making
I'm
excuses?
not making excuses for anybody.
Oh, come on, dude. Like your anti-Philly, everybody else is a homer take thing is old and tired, dude. Get something new. Seriously. Exactly. I don't know. Sorry. Sometimes when those type of comments come in, I don't always know exactly where they're
What they're meant for.
what they're
Yeah.
attached to. But anyway. Yeah, so God, where were we? Jesus, we're already at an hour. Well, listen, maybe we'll just stop short with the free agent offense. We have
Yeah, we can do
quarterback.
free agent defense next week if you want.
We do need to figure out quarterback backup, whether they're going to go, with the young kid McKee, because Mariota is a free agent. Also, we have 2 free agent guards, Sua Peta and Jack Driscoll. So we're not sure if we might bring one of those guys back.
Yeah, I'd love the chance to bring one of those two back.
Listen,
But again, at the
like
right
our
price.
You hope that you never have to use them.
Right.
You also have Tyler Steen kind of there. And regardless of whether Kelsey comes back, you have a starting lineup. It's just whether or not, he comes back, whether or not, we're going to be talking about taking somebody early, whether we're going to be drafting an interior offensive lineman. And then the question is, what does what's his face do? Does he stay at right guard? Does he kick in?
Yeah, Jurgens. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I think the Kelsey information, whether he's coming back or not. If he's not coming back, what is he doing?
And the longer this goes, the more important it is that I think that he does come back. Because if you're building your game plan, you want to.
Can I be an asshole and play devil's advocate?
Sure.
I love Jason Kelce. I think he's done wonders for this organization, for this city. He will never he'll never buy a drink in this town again. He might as well be the mayor of Philly. He might as well be the mayor of Seattle. Wow. Jesus. He was literally just there this past weekend, by the way. Anyway, he's still what was his salary last year? 14 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Let's see. Where I have it right here. 14,250. And that was a deal. So even if it's saying nicely, he goes down to like 12. That's still a lot of money, a lot off of the cap for Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing. Everybody would be devastated. We'd lose our favorite player, the man of the people. But $14
At
million.
this point, I feel like Jason Kelsey is rivaling Brian Dawkins level.
I think for the next generation after Doc, I think he 100% is.
Yeah.
And even those of us that are in our 40s,
Would you say 25 and younger are probably more Jason Kelsey than Brian Dawkins?
100%. Because what they didn't really see Brian Dawkins, they saw that tail end, if anything.
Right.
Guys like us, I think Jason Kelsey's easily number 2. I think he's right.
Yeah.
I think he, it depends on kind of.
Yeah, he's definitely bad because, like, to me, number 2 has always been an either Randall Reggie combo.
Sure.
I think Jason Kelsey is surpassing
right. Because Reggie for us was kind of like Dawkins for them.
Yeah.
We saw them a little bit, but didn't realize the impact. We didn't realize the gravity.
Like, we listened to, like, our older siblings or, like, other family members who told you about how awesome Reggie White was. And, we saw him play, but, like, we didn't see when Reggie was the killer that Reggie.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't. You're absolutely right. Don't trade up for a player to give him time. Eagles are secretly pissed about Davis. Yeah, you might be right. You're right, and they did trade up.
Sure.
And we'd all love to have Kyle Hamilton right now. I get it. I understand. But it's not like
the fact that then the Ravens took Kyle Hamilton right after us.
Yeah, let's not call this a Rager Jefferson situation. That's not what.
No, definitely not.
Does wide receiver come from the draft this year? If so, who and when? I would love that. I think 3rd round would be really nice. Somebody like maybe a Makai Corley. Let me look at Malachi Corley. Maybe Tez Walker, Roman Wilson. These are all guys that, again, I wouldn't mind adding, and I wouldn't mind necessarily adding a free agent guy, but better than the Zacchaeus, better than old man Julio Jones, somebody that's, can be at least somewhat productive. Happy that the Eagles hired Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator. Okay, cool. Yeah. Vic was 22nd in the league and had 70 points scored on them. Very excited for this. Oh, wow. You roped me in on that one. Hey, listen. I think
anybody's capable of having a bad week.
Well, and also Miami. Listen, I'm not saying Nick Fangio is perfect, and I don't know how this is going to work, and I'm a little nervous about it.
Sure.
I think, they dealt with a lot of injuries down there, and whatever. It is what it is, but I've seen what he's capable of doing, and again, I'm not sure if we have exactly what he needs. Now, granted, a lot of his defensive schemes are based on strong safety play. Also, strong linebacking play. Just saying. It would be nice if Fangio and,
So if we built a defense that was conducive to his style?
Yeah. Oh, that's a very good point, Q. Foles. Yeah, there's definitely a faction out there that is all Foles all the time. And you cannot tell them that Foles isn't the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. Which I find laughable. Yes, he had the greatest stretch.
10 quarters.
Yeah, he had the greatest stretch of an Eagles quarterback in history, and it came at the exact right time.
I would say he sold his soul for 10 unbelievable quarters.
10 quarters. You son of a bitch, man. To break it down to only 10. That's messed up, dude. You couldn't give him 12? You couldn't give him.
That first, I was there for the entire Atlanta game.
I was too. Okay, I was too. It wasn't. You're right. It wasn't great, but still, I think you just give him.
I'm giving him. I'm giving him the NFC title game in the Super Bowl and the second half against Atlanta. All right, fine. You know what? For argument's sake, I'll give him 12.
Thank you. BDN needs 12 inches. I mean, 12 quarters. Sorry. Slip of the tongue. All right. Anyway, we have gone super over. My apologies. Not intended, but
we didn't do last week, so we had to make up for it this week.
10 quarters. But the Quentin Fuller movie would be nice. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, here we go.
Listen, yeah, we went a little overboard. We went off topic as we always do, but that
Oh, yeah.
was thanks to you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming through. Absolutely love it. Q, David, Yang Gang, Jack, even talking Philly sports with good old Matty B, Mr. Hater. Always love it, dude. I will give you credit. You stick to it and you drive your points home.
Haters gonna hate.
And anybody else that Steven, just trying to make sure I grabbed everybody that commented. Daniel, of course, Mr. Always First. I love it. Yang Gang, appreciate it, buddy. Ricky Pearson gives me Greg Garrity vibes, possible before your times. Now, I do know who that is, and yeah, Ricky Pearson out of Florida. Not bad for a later round guy, mid-round guy. Wouldn't be terrible. Where do I have? I think I have him as a fourth, fifth round. We'll see. But anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate it. We're going to stop rambling here. Appreciate the love and the support. Thank you very much, everybody coming in from Edge of Philly Sports YouTube. Of course, now we are officially a show on the Edge of Philly Sports Network. You can still check us out right up there at Philly Sports PSA on X for everything, updates, draft stuff. Make sure that you are subscribed to the Edge of Philly Sports YouTube. Make sure that you check out all of our scouting reports, our top 10 list. Get yourself involved for this NFL draft. It's coming up quick, and it is fantastic. David, what's up, buddy? Always appreciate you popping in, pal. Good to see you. So check us out every Monday, 6 o'clock. We will be here on Edge of Philly Sports. So for the Football Smack Talk show, I am Ryan.
I'm Eric. Happy football, everybody. We're about 197 to go.
Oh, there you go. We're under 200 days until the start. Also, anything to add before I get out of here, Eric? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Love to hear it. Thank you, guys. See you next week. Later.
Go Birds.